So what does that mean? It means that anybody who is chronically ill that wants the best patient outcome should subscribe to an integrative health approach. This is not alternative medicine. This is not telling people to not listen to their doctors and not take their medication, not do their surgeries. This is saying for best patient outcome, you add the best immune supporting technology. Let me tell you something. What if somebody who's on chemotherapy? You see they lose their hair and get sick. You know why? Because their immune system is crashing. What if you could support their immune system? I did a study with an oncologist just to see the side effects. And guess what? People didn't lose their hair. People didn't have the side effects. And that was on the first generation technology. I'm telling you guys, this is crazy good. Okay, you guys share your perspective from integrative health.
Integrative health. So hi everybody, I'm Carrie Beaupre, and this is my fiance Dave Skinner. And we wanted to share some of the things that we've seen in the last 3 weeks. But let me tell you, it was about 8 weeks ago that we were told the immune was coming. And I heard the same thing you guys just heard from Sam Castor. And Dave and I knew then that this was a game changer. And that we had something here that's going to change not only our own lives, but our friends' lives, but the world. And so we knew that we needed to get our game hat on as soon as we heard that this technology was coming. And after hearing that story, then Dave and I went out, before we even got the immune, before it even showed up in the mailbox, and I couldn't shut up about it. And so I've been telling everybody, I've been telling the stories that Sam has already told us. And what happened was, people were like waiting with bated breath for the immune to come. And then when we were given the pre-sale, we were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, it's coming. And people were waiting. And so one of my people, I own a couple of fitness centers, and I have a gentleman that I've been doing personal training with for about 7 months now. I knew him from 5 years ago. 5 years ago, he walked into my gym, he was just fine, and then he had had a stroke, and then Alzheimer's set in. So can I say that?
You've already said it.
Integrative health. I mean, we don't cure anything. All right, everybody clear on that? We don't cure anything. We help the body rebuild the immune system. And so that's all I've been telling. I've been sharing that story with people, and we all have a weakened immune system, and then we also knew too about the reboot program. I was kind of half doing the reboot program, with the people in my fitness centers. I think, some people can't afford it, not everybody needs to be reboot. But let me tell you guys, everybody needs to reboot. And I've got people that were going out to, different centers and for weight loss and things like that, and I wasn't really promoting the reboot program. But now after how Sam explained how we heal the gut, heal the body, now I get it. Now everybody needs to reboot. So anyway, talking about Leo. So Leo, he is pretty unstable. When he comes into my gym, he grips my arm. When he started 7 months ago, he was using a walker. I got him to use a cane. But when he walks in the gym, he'll just smile at me, but he never really says anything. I get him on the recumbent bike, and he gets on the recumbent bike, and only 10 minutes is all I'm asking him to do is 10 minutes. And then but the bike will quit. Like every couple of minutes he can't, and I put no pressure on at all, and the guy just can't keep going. And then I put him in a chair to do all of his exercises. Got him on the immune 3 weeks ago. 1 week in, he walks into the gym and says, "Hi, Carrie, how you doing today?" And I'm like, "Oh!" His wife said, "Did you hear that?" I'm like, "Yes, I did." And so then I'm like, "Okay, Leo, come on, let's go get on the bike." Get him on the bike. He starts to pedal, and normally he says, "It's so hard." That day, this was 3 weeks ago, he said, "Look at Carrie, I'm going at 70 RPMs. I'm like, "Leo," I'm like, "Usually you don't even know there's such a thing as an RPM." So then I get him up, I get him on the rocker board, he rocks back and forth and then loses his focus. Okay, Leo, gotta bring him back. This time, gets on the rocker board, back and forth, back and forth. He stands up tall, which normally I have to ask him to do, and lets go. And balances. That was like, I was like, and his wife was like, did you see that? I was like, yes, I saw that. And then I walked him around the gym. I said, okay, Leo, I'm gonna get your chair for your arm curls, lateral raises, and shoulder presses. And he says, Carrie, today I'll stand. Normally he doesn't say anything. Today I'll stand. Okay, let me then fast forward 1 week later. 1 week later, it's a Sunday night. His daughter calls me and she's bawling on the phone. She says, listen, I just left my dad's house. I just spent 3 hours with him. 3 hours of having a conversation that we haven't had in over a year. Seeds to do an indoor garden, he couldn't even pick up the seeds. She says, tonight he picked up the seeds. And she said, she was bawling on the phone, and she says, listen, you gave me my dad back. Listen, people, when you do that for people, it's like nothing you will ever experience. And so she's like, and listen, she says, I am all in. She's a hairdresser. She can't stop talking about it either. So he comes to the gym the next day, more balance. We had a conversation through the whole workout. He did great, and his wife was like, oh my gosh, it's so amazing. Now, fast forward 1 week later. 1 week later, Dave's at his house. He's having even better results. Dave gets to physically watch him, like go up the stairs. Usually his wife like helps him all the way up, just a slight hand on his back. That's a big thing. The other thing too is, he like has to wear Depends. And so he's having accidents. He's had accidents in the gym, accidents at home. When I talked to his wife that third Monday, she said, Carrie, he hasn't had an accident in 2.5 weeks. Thank you for like making my life easier, because it was tough. So that's just one story. Is that amazing or what? Yeah. So listen to Dave for a second about what's been happening with him with the Immune over the last 3 weeks.
I'm like all of you, like Sam Castor and like Carrie. I'm a scientific genius. My story is pretty simple. Pretty simple, and I'm going to share my story with you like I share it with everybody else. I'm 48 years old. I'm a 28-year law enforcement veteran. I got diagnosed with a very horrific digestive disorder 17 years ago. Went to the Mayo Clinic for 15 of those years and was treated with pharmaceuticals like anybody else with digestive disorders. And those pharmaceuticals just continued to escalate over the years. And every year I go back and see my doctor, and I'd get my tests done, and my doctor would tell me how much worse my digestive disorder was and how much more medication I needed, until it escalated to the point where I was getting infusions. And this was the final stage. He said, there isn't anything else. If this doesn't work, there's nothing more that we can do for you. So every 8 weeks, I would get a needle put in my arm, and I would lay there for 3 hours and hope for the best. And I was told that I'd do that for the rest of my life. And then 2 years ago, Danny Morgan introduced us to Evolve Health. And I said, I'm going to try that. What do I have to lose, right? So gave it a try. Within 6 days, I felt better. Within 12 days, I started to feel clean. Within 2 months, I went back to my doctor and shared Evolve Health with him and told him how good I was feeling. And I said, I want to cut my medication in half. And like any good doctor would say, he said, that's not possible. He said, your medication is based on your weight, not on how you feel. And I said, well, then I want to stop my medication. And he said, personal choice, but I would recommend against it. So I did what any good patient would do, and I stayed on my medication. Integrative Health. I used my medication, and I continued to use the products. I got another treatment, which was the day after Thanksgiving, 2014, and I had a very bad reaction to it. See, because my body was now healthy. And I had to go get more medications because that's how bad my reaction was. I made the decision at that point in time that I was done with my medication. That was it. I haven't had any medication in my body since. I stopped taking the medication right then and there. Like you, I thought that was amazing. Then we got introduced to Immune. And the results I've had with Immune, 10 times the results that I've had with Evolve Health, Limitless, and the reboot system, which have changed my life, and I'll never be off those products forever. But the Immune product, I listened to Sam, tried to understand what I could. I explained my story to Sam last night. I said, let me tell you how I'm explaining this to people, then you tell me when to stop, if I'm right or wrong. And I said about 6 words. He said, stop, you're wrong. And then he spent about 15 minutes explaining to me how it really works. I can't explain it to you. But I started using those products when I arrived in Ireland with the rest of the diners, because Chris Trapezoid brought me some that somehow he got from Sam's. I can't explain that either. Chris has a way of doing things. So he gives me a bottle of Immune, and I start using it. I haven't had a beer in 17 years. Can't drink beer. But when we were in Ireland, they have Guinness. So Eric Knockleby thought it would be a good idea for me to start consuming Guinness. So I was afraid, so I drank a little bit, a half a glass, and I just waited for the reaction because I knew it was coming, and it didn't come. This was my first day with Immune. And so and then Carrie drank the rest and said, you're done. So I ordered another one. So I continued to drink Guinness to the point where I was drinking 1 or 2 a day, and I thought that was pretty cool. And I was eating foods that I typically can't eat, and I just wasn't having a reaction. And I was taking my Immune, and I thought, wow, this is pretty incredible. And then we all went golfing, and you know what happens at golf courses. Eric Knockleby said we should do one left and one right. I don't know what he was talking about, but we just started drinking Guinness, and to the point where we had to ride back to the hotel. Anyway, long story short, we had just incredible results, and here we are now in New Orleans, and we're eating food that most of us shouldn't be eating. And I've eaten so many different foods in the last 2 months. Or last month and last night, all these different foods, and I just have zero reaction, and I'm literally able to eat anything that I want. That's got to stop. But anything that I want, and it's just been truly incredible. So my hat's off to Evolve Health and the partnership with Sam Castor. And what they've brought to us, it's life-changing. Not just for me, but for everybody in this room and everybody that you're in contact with. This is life-changing, and I think, together we are truly going to change the world.